This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 12th day of May in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. In its latest report highlighting the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the Americas, the Pan American Health Organization has highlighted the situation in Guyana as worrying. According to PAHO, while a number of cases are falling in Brazil, Guyana and Bolivia, which border Brazil, are both experiencing a surge in new cases. The organization has noted that it is important for persons to get vaccinated so that the countries in the Americas could reach herd immunity. Guyana currently has more than 1,700 active cases of COVID-19, with the infection rate increasing steadily. Since the start of this month, more than 1,200 new cases have been recorded in 11 days, with 32 deaths reported in the same period. It is suspected that a faster spreading strain of the virus has made its way into Guyana. With the World Health Organization reporting last week that there is growing evidence that the virus is airborne, Guyana's Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, today advised that persons should keep those masks on in indoor places outside of their homes.
So there have been a long discussion pertaining to aerosols and its role in the current infection. And I think more and more the reputable international agencies that deals with epidemics have concluded that aerosols play a very significant role in transmission, especially in indoor environments. And so we too have to take the new evidence into consideration, and we have to keep warning people that if you are working in an indoor environment, then it's necessary for you to keep your mask on all the time, because you don't know who you're interfacing with, and you don't know what is circulating in that indoor environment's air.
And in relation to vaccinations in the country, the health minister revealed that more young people have been turning up to get vaccinated, and he's pleased about that. He said the government will continue to push its vaccination drive.
We continue these partnerships, and we would like to see more of them happening, especially in Region 10, because Region 10 still, when we look at our numbers, they're still lagging behind in terms of vaccinations. So that's one area that we want to encourage groups in Region 10, community-minded citizens, influential people who can talk to others to make sure that people take their vaccines. That is a very important part of the response. So we really want to appeal to those persons to assist us.
The ministry is also encouraging citizens to pay attention to the date for the second dose of their vaccine and ensure they return to their vaccination center for that second dose so that they could be fully immunized against COVID-19. More news coming up in just a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
I took the vaccine. My name is Gordon Mosley, and I took the vaccine on Friday. And I'm encouraging you, if you've made the choice, go take the vaccine. Protect yourself against COVID-19. COVID-19 is no joke. I've been covering the story from day one, and it scares me, and it should scare you too. So there are vaccination sites all around. Go to the Ministry of Health's Facebook page, follow the information, keep your mask on, and go take the vaccine. You'll be happy you did.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer, 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of mobile lubricants.
At Sash Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sash Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
As nurses across the globe celebrated International Nurses Day today, the Nurses Association of Guyana is concerned about a recent decision by the Ministry of Health to suspend the nursing program at the Charles Rosa School of Nursing in Linden. The Ministry of Health is still to give a reason for its decision, which resulted in more than 40 student nurses being sent home. During an interview on the Jumpstart morning program on 94.1, the president of the Nursing Association, Cleopatra Parkoy, said the situation is sad.
And that is not right, that is not fair. So to close a school, if that is so, to close a school, I know they sent home the students, but what they will do later, they have not communicated to us. Right? So to close a school in this time when we need so many nurses and nurses are leaving, it is a sad situation for our country and our people.
Nurse Parkoy, who has worked for more than 30 years in the field of nursing and nursing education, said the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in a global demand for nurses. She said Guyana is already facing a shortage and will need to hire more than 3,000 nurses in the next 5 years.
The thing is that the world will need over 4.7 million nurses because 1 in every 6 nurses is due for retirement. But because of previous shortages and the deaths rate in COVID-19 among nurses, the new estimate is 13 million. In Guyana alone, we will need over 3,179 approximately nurses in the next 5 years. And this has to do with migration as well as the nurses that are leaving, retiring. And so there will always be a shortage.
The Nurses Association president has also issued a call for nurses to take better care of themselves. She said that in many cases, nurses have left themselves undone to care for their patients and their families.
And so nurses need to take care of self. Nurses need to have somebody to talk to, and at the association we have been pushing that in every area, in every region, to every ear that would listen to us, because nurses are affected. You can't come to work 8 hours, you see people die, you see patients crying out for pain and go home and be normal. It affects you after some time. And so nurses also have to cope with not having the equipment to work with. And that is a real burden. So to cope with stress, you need to talk with someone. We need a psychologist to talk to sit down and to listen to us. We need to have fun times. We need to do our hair, our nails. We need to go on a holiday. We need to go on a trip someplace and relax. And that's how nurses can de-stress.
Moving forward, the Nurses Association would like to see more psychologists being assigned to nurses to assist them to better cope with the pandemic and the work they do. 2 of the foreign directors of a controversial cement company that was being set up behind South Ronville Gardens have been asked to leave the country voluntarily or face deportation. One of the directors has been given 7 days to depart Guyana, while the other one has been given 24 hours to pack up and leave. The 2 have been advised of the ultimatum by the Immigration Department, which found that both were working in Guyana in contravention of their immigration status. One of the directors was granted stay in the country as a visitor, while the other one no longer works for the oil company that got him a work permit to be in Guyana. The latest move by the government follows yesterday's incident at the site for the cement plant, when one of the foreign directors told the Minister of Housing and the Chief Executive Officer of the Housing Authority to leave the premises, since it is private property. The minister and his team were in the area as a cease order was being served on the company following complaints from residents in the community. The cement manufacturing and packaging facility was being set up, although it had no permission from the Housing Department, the Environmental Protection Agency, or the Georgetown City Council. In a statement last evening, the Ministry of Housing said, while it continues to create an atmosphere conducive to investment, the investments must come through the right channel at all times, and more importantly, the requisite permits must be sought. Let's tell you now that Guyanese businessman Andrew McDeesey has denied having investments in Superior Concrete Inc., the company which has been embroiled in controversy over the past few days related to an illegal concrete plant. McDeesey, who was named in other sections of the press as being linked to the company, is out to clear his name. In a statement today, he said the only link with the cement company would be his company being hired to provide transportation services for material. He said he's not a shareholder, not an executive, and not a joint venture partner with the company, and he has no interest in it. He said he's also not financially connected to the concrete company. McDeesey said his company was contracted by Superior Concrete Inc., but that does not mean that he has ties to the company. The businessman also said he intends to comply with the cease order issued by the government and the city council, and he agrees to fully comply with the law as he has always done. Let's tell you now that while admitting that attacks on police officers during the execution of their duties is not widespread, Police Commissioner Nigel Hoppy has indicated that the police force will be taking a firm stand against any such incidents. In the past few months, there have been several cases of police officers being assaulted by civilians during the execution of their duties. While the perpetrators have since found themselves facing the courts, the police force will be moving to clamp down more on the problem.
You would recall just a few weeks ago, a bus driver attacked a policeman with a cutlass, and more recently in Cumberland Kanji, where a policeman in the execution of his duties was subject to abuse. Generally, the public has been supportive of the work of the police, and that is highly appreciated. However, we urge citizens to desist from the type of unlawful behavior towards law enforcement officials, because I dare say that condign action will be taken against those who are found culpable. And we have seen that charges were laid against several persons who have committed such offences. Some were placed before the court and even sentenced.
The Commissioner was speaking there last evening during a broadcast of the new Police and You radio program on the Voice of Guyana. Commissioner Hoppy spoke about the crime situation in the country, pointing to the official figures which show a decrease in criminal activity for the year. He said the crime stats being released by the police force are not fake.
There have been years where there were increases which were published and for which the relative statistics were provided. The crime statistics are conscientiously compiled on a daily basis as reflected from reports of crime received by the police throughout the country. In its professionalism, there is none, nor has there been any effort by the force to present concocted, favorable crime statistics, neither to the public nor to the government.
Meanwhile, the Guyana Police Force has also found itself engaged in the enforcement of the coronavirus guidelines, with almost nightly patrols in areas across the country.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95, tune up. Fuel it up and drive, super 95, tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
My name is Ashley. I not too long received my first dosage of the Sputnik vaccine. It was a very simple process. The staff were very informative, and I encourage you all to come out and take your vaccine. If you're unsure, there's so many people to ask. The information is free online as well, so please do come out.
Across the region tonight, Trinidad and Tobago has recorded the deadliest day for the COVID-19 pandemic to date. In the past 24 hours, 9 persons succumbed to the disease in the Twin Island Republic. The country has recorded 55 deaths for this month of May, making it the deadliest month for the pandemic, averaging 5 deaths a day for the last 11 days. The previous record high monthly death toll occurred in September last year, with 54 deaths reported. According to the Health Ministry in Trinidad and Tobago, the 9 deceased included 7 persons with comorbidities. There were 3 elderly males, 3 elderly females, and 1 middle-aged female. In addition, the remaining 2 were a middle-aged male and a middle-aged female without comorbidities. In the past 24 hours, 348 people have tested positive for the disease in Trinidad and Tobago, making the 3rd highest jump in daily reported COVID-19 cases to date. It was smooth sailing for at least 4 primary schools yesterday in Barbados at the start of the phased resumption of face-to-face classes. Last Monday, the older students at primary and secondary schools across the island returned to their respective schools. Last Sunday, during a televised press conference, the Minister of Education, Sanita Bradshaw, announced that there would be a phased return to classes starting from yesterday. The principals of the reopened schools said it was a fairly smooth transition back to the classroom. At one school, the principal said that the school had the capacity to accommodate the entire student roll of 104. And finally tonight, international news. The British Prime Minister has announced that an independent public inquiry into the handling of the coronavirus pandemic will be held next year. Mr. Johnson said the government was fully committed to learning the lessons at every stage of the crisis. The inquiry will place the state's actions under the microscope, he added, and take evidence under oath. But Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer questioned why the inquiry could not start earlier, such as later this year. During a statement in the Commons, the Prime Minister said the inquiry could not inadvertently distract those within the healthcare system and government advisors who were continuing to deal with the pandemic. He said because of the threat of new variants and the possible winter surge in infections, spring next year would be the best time to hold the inquiry. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.